Welcome back.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
It's Francesca.
And Courtney.
How's it going?
Did you enjoy our last episode?
We're doing like 2 in one day. So sorry we look the same, but also you're welcome. So we talked about navigating relationships in the last episode, and it was more like, do I keep this relationship moving forward? Don't I? This relationship is bothering me. Should it be bothering me? How can I fix it? So if you want to give that a listen, that'd be awesome. If you also want to leave reviews, we need to start asking you guys to do that.
Like, subscribe to this channel. What's the thing? Like, subscribe, follow, comment,
even.
Talk it up.
Because
recommend.
We talked about this in the last episode too. Like, this is your guys' podcast too. Like, we want to hear from you. We want to talk things out with you.
We want you to come on. Like, maybe it's like a Zoom or like a video chat where you come on.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Just do it. Because we want to help out. We want to be that support system. And we thought we were going to try and do like basically intimate relationships, like engaged and married relationships in the last episode, but there was too much talking going on, so we decided to make a separate episode talking about all that fun stuff. So what's a good start off there? I'm engaged, you're married.
You're engaged. You're getting married this year.
So 4 months.
4 months.
We'll have been engaged for 2 years when we get married. That wasn't the intention, but we got engaged during COVID and got like 2 dates pushed back to what is now May 7th. So we're almost there.
And we got married March 7th.
That's right.
That's why when you text me about, going to someone who told you about like, numbers and like the meaning.
Had my numbers read,
when you said the 7th, I was like, oh,
well, no. So I don't know if anybody knows about like numerology. I didn't.
I don't.
But I got.
What is it? What is numerology?
Yeah. So I got my numbers read for my birthday, and I was like, I need this. Like, there's a lot of questions I have, not even about the wedding, but it was a super cool experience because it's just numbers. Like, it's just a timing thing.
How do you go about finding a numerologist?
My aunt, where she works, one of her clients is a numerologist, and she does like tarot card readings and stuff like that. And my mom and my aunt, they got a past life reading done by this lady, and it's like,
what does that entail?
For sure. Past, like, and like she just goes off of her intuition. She goes off of her medium abilities, I guess. But what I liked about the numerology reading is each number has a different significance. And like, you could take it or leave it. Obviously, like, you take a lot of those things with a grain of salt, but this was just numbers. It just had to do with timing and like what certain numbers can mean. So like a 9 is usually associated with like end of cycle, new cycle to start. And when I told her our wedding date, May 7th, 2022, if you add up all those numbers, it equals out to a 9. And so she was like, you can't get married on that day. And she was like, you could, but it won't last very long. And we were like, what? And like, I wasn't even afraid of that, because it's like, bitch, like, we paid for this wedding. Like, we're getting married on that day. But she was like, get married on a day with a 1 in it. And she kept saying like ones. And our anniversary in our original wedding date was May 1st. And May 1st, 2022 is our 11-year anniversary. So one's kind of everywhere.
Okay. And I like that because if she's saying like stick with like lower numbers, I'm assuming that way. We met on the 2nd. So I'm to accept that, like, we got married on a 7th, and then we're on the 3rd, so the 7 plus 3, right? That would be like 10. So is that past
just 1?
So
So take the 0 out, and it would just be 1. And 1 is a good, like, has to do with like leadership and like strength, I think. And so 1s are really good. And so like, it wasn't even the fact that she was like trying to tell our future with numbers. It just happened to like be a good thing that I did that,
right,
because
everything's aligning.
It was just aligned like for the better anyway, because we also never ever thought we could have a small ceremony because our families are so big, when deep down I think we would love that option. And now we have that option. So yeah, like she could have been wrong, because I was like, well, what if we get married, like tie the knot on the 1st and keep the expensive ass venue for the 7th, because we're not getting rid of that. And so it was like, well, this kind of opens up a cool opportunity, which is why we are now having a little ceremony.
And I like it because I know some people are like, oh, like those readings, but I just think it's more of the meaning that you can tie to things. Like, I think that's the
representation of like what you're looking for. Kind of, it puts things into perspective, I think. It does, which is always a good thing.
It's always good to have different perspectives. That's how you grow. But I know people who really believe and they like follow it to a T. Like they said this is going to happen, so I do it. But I when I hear that, I just think like, oh, it just gives them more meaning to what they do. Because I think like sometimes when you're walking through life, and if you see a 3 and you're just told about a 3, it's just like, oh wow, you might explore something more, or like it just gives you more meaning. It's like nice to have faith in something, right?
And I think like I'm not religious. I'm not like I don't get sucked into like certain like huge concrete beliefs, because I'm always like questioning everything. But I definitely believe in timing. And numbers are just timing.
I think faith too, like, isn't necessarily religious. Like, it's good to have faith in anything. And so I think like a lot of people who maybe are or don't believe in God, or like just like they're hard with religion, to me, like that's your journey, but like just have faith in something. I think it's good to have a belief in something and have something that could make meaning to your life. And so I think people that believe in like numerology or like believe in readings, like to me that's like uplifting in a way where they're able to attach a lot more meanings to what they're doing. So when you told me that, I was like, wait, as I text him, like, wait, is it the combination? Is it the 7? Now I'm freaking out.
So you just have to add up the numbers, and like a big number with my name and with Pablo's name was a 5. And 5 means like fun, creativity, spirituality. And I think that's like me and Pablo to a T, both individually and together. So like the 5s kept popping up, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And things just do fall into place, because that is definitely life. Like, it's just kind of like the trusting of the universe thing. Like
all comes together.
Cool. Like you could just make cool connections however you want to, and like obviously take it with a grain of salt, but like you're saying, it's just kind of like representative of what is meaningful to you.
And I love that.
And like we never thought we could have a small ceremony, and
now you get
now we're doing it, and it's the coolest thing ever. So and that's awesome. Like Pablo, he's like skeptic, but he's superstitious. So when I told him like we can't get married, like we have to tie the knot on a different date, he was like, well, I'm not going to say no, because we want to get our married life off to a good start. And if you can do that in any way possible, you should.
That's just telling too of like that's a good partnership. Like, you know, like if there is like some superstitious out there, like the fact that you both are like, you know what, why don't just go with it? Because like, you know, the conversation's already happening. Let's just seek it through and
let's go with the good juju and out with the bad. And so it's a hilarious backstory to why we're doing that. But I think it helped us in a way to be like, oh, there's gonna be some simplicity. We're not gonna get all caught up, and like wedding days at a venue go by so quick, and like that was kind of killing me. Like I don't like to not enjoy a special day, and we're gonna be pulled in a million different directions.
You're barely gonna eat and say hi to everybody.
I was struggling with that, and so
it's hard.
So now that we have an extra day, it just relaxed. Like we're both relaxed and just excited at this point. And like you said, I'm glad we just both agreed on it, because I would have been like, I don't like this bad juju.
No, I don't. I wouldn't like that either. So I thought that's a cool story.
And Courtney's one of my bridesmaids. I don't know if we talked about that.
I don't know. I'm excited. I did that through the wedding place where I sent me the dress to try on. And I like it. I did the sky. But I'm glad I have time to like, get the other one now, because at first I was like, I wasn't sure how I looked, but now I'm happy that there are many things.
A lot of added styles too.
So your sister said that, and I was like, she mentioned one that wasn't on your list. So are you good with that?
I'm fine with that. As long as it's the same color,
the same velvet, the same color. Yeah. No, I saw that too, but like I'm not gonna say the style names, but like they have different styles. And your sister mentioned that because like she was gonna have, like, I was gonna take one of hers, but I realized it wasn't the same dress I was getting initially. Right. And I was like, wait, what's that one that she said? Okay, so cool.
Any style.
But I gotta talk about that, because I was curious. I was like, I don't want to like order that one and like it's not on her list.
It's in the butt. But no, any style. And but yeah, I guess so. About engaged life, it's not like hugely different.
No,
it's just like preparing for the wedding. And like a lot of the times we're just like, this could all just like float away. Like we still need to think, like, come back to who we're doing this for, us,
right?
What this is all about, and it's about us. And so, but like, it's hard to not get caught up. Like, did you find yourself getting caught up in the details?
You know, I did it like well, and like I had monthly plans. The only, if I had to look back and have that mindset of like, oh, like if I would have changed anything, what I have? No, I definitely wouldn't have. But my advice to future people is that it does go by so fast. It's kind of emotional, because you go on this whole year or 2 years of planning, or 5, like however long you are engaged, planning, and then it's all over in like 5 or 6 hours. It's kind of emotional. I guess like it hit you into like, it was like in bed that night. I was like, oh my God,
like we just go to bed.
This is it. Like now our families go, everyone, and it's also the time people come together. So people come together, they're celebrating you, and they're celebrating family, they're celebrating love. And I think like it's a lot. And so when people come together for this beautiful moment, for it to be over in 6 hours, and then the next day you're like back to normal life again, but now you're married. It just like, to me, it's beautiful. But in a sense, because it's so beautiful, it's not long. It's like it goes by so quickly. And I think like, so when we got married, it was awesome. Family came, everything turned out great. I loved it. Was so fun. But I felt like, because there's so much happening, just expectations of talking to everyone too. I saw like, I look back and I just want to make sure I like did read and I really touch and hang out as much, or is it more like
on your wedding day?
And so now I'm all over him, like there's touching all the time. But I think just that specific day, I don't know if it was really him and I really connecting so much as we just had more family connections, which is so beautiful, because it's different families coming together as one. I love that like his brother calls me his sister-in-law. Like I like that part of the family, and that like his mom refers to me as like a daughter she never had. It's like, that's the beautiful part about that day, is that families are coming together. But in a sense, because it is so short and you're connecting so much with loved ones that flew in and spent the money to be here, you kind of lose sight of like, I was never really by his side so much, because at the wedding I was by other friends and family. I was like, thank you for coming, and doing all those expectations that you have to live up to because it's appropriate or whatever. So I wasn't stressed. I don't regret anything. I look back and it was great memories. It was a beautiful day. I loved my dress, loved the food, loved the family. But I also walked out to the Office theme song.
It was amazing.
That was pretty cool.
It was like, yes, of course.
My dad and I did a fun dance.
That was amazing too.
So yeah, it was fun. But I just look back and we're kind of thinking like, should we do like an anniversary, like we invite everybody, but they all have to come, but just like celebrating our lives, like maybe camping or something, doing a fun event. I think we're looking way more forward to that now, because like, I don't know, it's just like you have like we used to like that's like a cherished ceremony. I think that we don't have to feel like we have so much expectations to live up to, because it's just us celebrating our love. So I don't know if that makes sense. I answered the question, but I think like my advice to anyone getting married, whether they want to take it or not, this just is something that maybe like just being mindful of like, you're in the moment, you're present. Don't listen to anybody else. Like I can only listen to me if you want, but don't listen to like other people. Just be like, this is our day. We put this money into it. We put all this time and, commitment into this beautiful day for our love to be like even more enhanced. Like be in the moment.
Yeah. I heard a tip not too long ago. I forget who told it to me, but it's like, make sure like he keeps on holding your hand so that you're like you literally stay together like throughout the day, because like, when it comes to social settings, we divide and conquer. Yeah. So it's going to be tough for us to not divide and conquer on that day. But I would like us to like talk to people as a married couple together, so that we can be like, all right, that's enough talking to people. We got to go dance with our friends for an hour at least. And but I'm nervous. Yeah. It's a big social day. And like, we love our family. We love being social, and we love, like, we're so lucky to have this shit ton of people that we all love. Yeah. But my battery drains pretty quick. And when things end, I get like anxiety about it. And I become kind of a monster. Like I get kind of bitchy. I'm just depressed that like the fun time is over. Like whenever we're leaving vacation, like I think Pablo at this point knows to just like let me have my depressive episode, because I have a problem with like fun times ending. So like you're saying, I really need to work up to just enjoying whatever. We can make it a
24-hour event too. We don't even need to sleep at your wedding. If you just want to move it somewhere else, we just keep going up until we can't. Like, bro,
my mom says that we're gonna be too tired, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, I kind of want to keep it going as long as possible.
Yeah. Who says that? Just we'll just push it until we can't stay up. Yeah. So we'll keep it. So that way you don't get in that much, like you're so tired, you're looking forward to bed. Yeah. And that next day it's like, we'll just be there. You'll just wake up to our faces. So we can set that up, Fran.
No, I want you to live with I want you and Reed to just live with us.
I'm moving in. We're actually moving down there. I didn't tell you that, but we're actually not looking for a house we're looking for your house. We're moving into your house. So that she shed, that's ours.
I was hoping
that will be
So you were gonna say that.
It's announced here. So news to everybody. Even Fran and Pablo. Hi roommate. I'll tell you how I like my coffee. We'll like take separate days, make each other coffee, and shower schedules, or just everyone showers together.
You conservating. Guys go first. You go.
Okay. Go first. Separate for sure. No, that's good advice though.
So
holding the hands the whole time, being connected. That's great. That's a good tip. I like that.
So I feel like I talk like I don't see like a huge, like I guess engaged life, like you are going to have conversations that you've never had. You're going to have tough conversations, like just to keep each other updated on how you're feeling or like what you want in the future. Like, but we've never had like a really hard problem with that.
You're both pretty aligned. We did premarital counseling.
And you guys recommended that?
I loved it. I loved it.
Counseling, and it's amazing. Not because anything's wrong.
No, it's even like preventative. It's even just to start. Because I think, I don't know the statistics here, so I'm just gonna like pull numbers. But I would say, like, based on just what our therapist says, our counselor, family therapist, whatever, he says the biggest hurdle or the most reason people come to him is because of communication and the lack of it.
I never doubt that.
Yeah. Right. And I think that and ties into communication is like, maybe it's, different types of parenting styles. Maybe it's money. Like, I think all those things that people go to counseling for as relationship struggles or challenges, like all stem from communication errors or lack of communication. And I think that going to counseling like once a month, even if you're like, oh, well, we haven't thought really, we're all good. It's just good to go. Cause sometimes like, even if you don't have an issue, it's like, usually those counselors have lessons, like teachers, like they have lessons planned anyway. And when you do have something you want to talk about, they kind of like loop that all around in their magical ways, or it just gets pushed to the burner what they had planned. So it's every time we go, it's always something, a new ideology you learn about, or it's always something new to like work on, or a book. He's like, maybe you should like a book study and like read like the 4 agreements, or that book is like, there's always something And, if it doesn't work out with one counselor, it's because maybe you don't feel like you're vibing, then there's different ones. I think a lot of people just forget that, like, that's a healthy, it's good to save up and prioritize that, like budgeting standpoint, like just to include that in your budget. So like you should go do a counselor like once a month. And even if like you don't want to go if you want to just go work on yourself too, there's been times that we've gone individually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I think that there's something that, besides it's good just to talk to somebody without your partner there, because you might feel like you feel pressure if they're in the room, or you feel like maybe you just want to talk. Yeah. And so, so we did premarital, which led us into monthly sessions afterwards. But premarital really talked about like parenting styles, money. Like, are you going to combine your money? If you're not going to, what is that reason? Right? Like, is there something like, maybe is there some trust there? Is there, not a full commitment in that sense? Like, they just kind of like, you're talking through just, why do you feel a certain way about something? You probably think it's one thing, but actually it's like something you never even thought of. So that's kind of, we did premarital, and we were pretty aligned on like parenting styles. We already had combined money, like we already went through those steps. And it was just good because it's conversations you wouldn't think to have, and even if you thought to have it, it's a third party facilitating.
I think like,
so that's important to have someone else there to kind of, let's move the conversation along. If you're getting stuck on one thing and you don't really know how to properly
or like
talk it through,
to make sure like you're both being validated again, both individually and as a couple. I think like, there's like, we went to counseling like 5 times, like 5 sessions so far. We want to keep going.
It's nice.
And it's so nice because we would think that we had like the biggest issue in the world too. And after talking for 10 minutes even, we're like just back on top. And like after every session, even though it was a super heavy conversation pretty much every time, we were walking out of there literally high-fiving.
Yes. You feel like closer.
You feel closer. You feel like, there's us and there's this bullshit problem.
Yes.
Like, let's not let it get, no more letting it take over our relationship, because 1, like, we can work through it. 2, it's never that big of a deal because it's always a communication issue. And just like, if you have trouble communicating, it doesn't mean that you're bad at it. It's just like, there's 2 different people here, there's 2 different brains,
different learning styles, different communication styles, different love languages. That's also a big thing. It's like our issue is love languages. I felt like, I was just like a piece of meat that, you want all the time, like there's something else with it. But sometimes that person's love language may be physical touch, and yours is like more like, I don't know. But there's a different like 7 love languages or something. So a piece of me.
What are like we've talked about this. It's like on our camping trip.
I know what I say.
What's your love languages and what are Reed's love languages? Like top 2, I guess.
Yeah. So he's very much like physical touch and like very like sexual. I feel weird like saying this, but like he's just like very like, his love language is like intimacy. Yeah. I don't even know. I feel like I should like pull it up real quick. I don't remember what mine is, but I'm sure if I talk about it, it'll come to my head what's actually the word. But I'm just something like I need like someone to like just be there for me, like just like talking to me, validating me, letting me talk.
Maybe words of affirmation.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes, perfect. Words of affirmation. And it's challenging when you have different love languages because your way of giving them love, you think, because you like it that way, that you think they like it that way, but they don't, because that's not their love language.
You have to give, like, I don't like the word cater.
No, but you have to fulfill.
You have to embrace
their
love languages and treat them according to their love languages.
Which is hard.
Really hard.
It's so hard because in moments you see them needing that support and wanting to show them love, you think that by giving them what you want is what they want. It's not.
Like, how does that make sense when you really think about it?
Right. And it doesn't. But in the moment, it's like sometimes you just need, that's why it's nice to go to a counselor, because it's like they're expert. This is what they focus on. This is like what they're passionate about and they know and they're experts in. And so it's nice to go to somebody and be like diagnosing, what it is. Because sometimes like we went in there like, oh, we know each other's love languages, and then mind up being words of affirmation after talking it through. So sometimes I think I know myself well and I don't. And that's okay, because maybe we need somebody else who's kind of like, because if you don't know, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And I think that's what's nice about counselor. But I liked what you said real quick about like going to counselor. There's many times, it actually came words of wisdom from Reed. And then our counselor was like, yeah, that's good. It's not me versus you. It's me and you versus the problem. And I think there's so many, every conflict that you go through with your partner, you think it's you versus them. You're like, no, you're wrong, buddy. Like but it's not. It's like there's you guys together versus that problem. And that is such a game changer mindset to have. Like it really changes perspective of every situation, every conflict you have. It's hard because in the moment you're in your mind, you're creating those stories in your head. You're listening to your emotions and what you feel is right, but sometimes like you have to take into account you both want the same outcome. It's just like getting through that challenge and facing that problem together. So I wanted to say that because when you brought that up about that problem and you guys working together, it's just that mindset's not me versus you, it's me and you versus that problem.
And like I think one thing like I'm struggling with is I don't want to be, and like maybe you felt this way too, like there's like a weird balance, or like I toe a weird line of keeping my autonomy and keeping my individuality, but not being selfish. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like when I'm like trying to still find myself and still own my individual life, that'll take away from mine and Pablo's life together. So like that's been something lately that I'm like, how do you navigate that?
And it's hard because you're with someone for so long, you may start to like you're going along with them and it's like, wait, I'm not like, it's our life, not their life with me in it. Like I always say it to like, I think it's important to remind your partner too, because I don't think anyone means to like always, and I say it's like in quotation was like get their way. I think sometimes like you both have different like styles. You have to remember like, oh, like it's you and I need to compromise and work together, not like your life that I'm just living in. But how would you say, going back to love languages in this, do you and Pablo feel like you have the same love language, or do you feel like it's different, and do you know?
So they're different. We have physical touch in common.
Oh, good.
But I think his number one is physical touch and intimacy.
Okay.
Hugely. Where I'm physical, like I'd rather communicate through touch and like show love versus like saying it, because like words are just not my forte or like my favorite thing. And because it's communicating and communicating is hard. So I'm physical touch in that way. But like if I'm like, because intimacy is very vulnerable to me. So that's so not my love language. And that is really our main issue. But like, it's an issue that we're just different. Like, it's not that I don't love intimacy, but I don't love being vulnerable in that way. I think that's just like, kind of part of a lot of things, like being a woman, like intimacy is just hard.
It is hard. I want to be like just a sexualized like person. I always feel like I think it's important to tell your partner like it's good to be sexual, but it also needs to be sensual, like sexual and sensual together. Like sometimes like if your partner's like, let's just have a quickie, like this is an example. I am down sometimes, a majority of the time, but sometimes I feel like not loved, because I feel like if it like I took that as like what you said, but that anyone could have been listening to that and not thought of this. But I feel like, for example, like if someone that you're married to, like it's like a hit or miss for me. If they just want to have quickies sometimes, I sometimes feel like, you mean make love? Like I just feel like sometimes I feel like it's not loving just to be like, hey, let's go fuck it out in the car real quick. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's spontaneous and you might be like, well, I like that. But sometimes I get in my head of like, I need that sensualness sometimes of like, no, I still love you and like you're my person. but you kind of like, I don't know. I guess I'm mixed on this. But I just feel like sometimes like with the sexualness, I sometimes feel like I'm not being loved. I'm just being like some let's just go fuck it out. Like a girl, like a random side chick or something. I don't know.
Like, oh, I'm back to dating again.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
I can see that.
I'm down. But next time be like, let's go make love for like a minute. You know what I mean? Let's just go, let's just change the wording. Because sometimes I'm just like not down with that. I'm just like, I feel like,
and like words mean something.
Words have meaning, and words to me, words affirmation. I need to know like I'm down. Let's just like reword this real quick because I feel like I'm like a side chick. So
yeah. And so I'm not huge on words. So I'm the one saying quickie when I don't mean like just get it over
take
with.
It out. And
I'm like, hey, I want us to embrace each other right now, but can we just keep it at that? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to like talk about it for a long time.
You just have like a need
for
that
me,
you
like the less words, the better. But then it comes off kind of short and like,
again, like it's different love language. I think like reads like that too. Where it's like words are hard, and I think it's not ill intent there. It's just like, hey, like you're my person. You're sexy right now. I just want to. And I'm just like, I hear you. I see the sexual tension. Do you love me though, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, like you're in love with me. You just like want to have like a quickie real quick. Yes. I see like that assurance that like I'm still your person. I'm still like your wife, but you're just very sexually frustrated, and you just want to just like you see me and you're like you're sexy, Courtney. You're wearing that. It's sweatshirt like no other. And I just want to see what's under that sweatshirt. You know what I mean? I just want to see what's going on.
I love that holy shirt.
Yeah. It's like that, just those layers just look like a challenge. I want to just take the cardigan off and the beanie off and just see what's going on. No, but I think going back to like relationship, like advice, like a relationship perspectives, I think it's very important, you know, if you're open to going to a counselor, because like, you need to explore these about your partner. You may feel like you're at an end point because you feel like you're not seeing eye to eye, but it's really just understanding that there are different lenses here. There are different perspectives here. You're two different people, that you're not always going to be in sync about the same thing. It's just like navigating how to understand that though.
Yeah. And like, how can everybody win here? Like it's collaboration, and
everyone should be happy.
Like, so yeah, we have words of affirmation in common.
Yeah.
But then I'm very much like acts of service. Again,
same.
Not involving a lot of words. Just like, I think I'm pretty action valued.
I love when my partner is sick. Because I can take care of him, which is pretty like fucked up to say in a way. I don't mean like I poison his tea so I take care of him, but like when he gets sick, I'm like, oh my god, I can like go get him. Do you need water? Do you like a massage? Like I like
you
that.
Like to spoil.
Yeah, I love just like give him a gift. I'm already like planning Valentine's Day. Yeah, I love doing that. Giver. Yeah, I love gift giving people. I think I've been talking about a really good gift giver.
She is.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. So like like he got the booster and he was sick a couple Fridays ago, and he's never sick. And I'm always like, something's wrong with me. So when he was, I'm like, I heard him at 3 a.m. sick, and I woke up and I'm like, Court, it's my time to shine. Water, aspirin, Tylenol. I'm like, do you need a heating? Do you need some heat on you? Do you need like a rag?
You're so nice. I'm like not like that with like physical stuff, because I'm also acts of service for myself. Like I'll take care of myself so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. So sometimes I treat Pablo like that. You take care of yourself because you probably want to anyway. And I do think he is like that. Like we're similar in that way. Like don't worry about me. Like I need to just figure this shit out on my own. But when it comes to like mental stuff, I'm like, there's nothing you could say that could scare me. Like, let me help you. Let's talk it out for even 5 hours if you need to. But that's like my time to shine. I'm like, oh, you have like you've got the mental problem right now. So I got you.
You are so good at that. You're a great listener. You have like you just have great perspectives.
But it's like,
that's so helpful
because we're constantly going through something. Meaning like the name of our game is like to figure our own brains out. So when somebody else needs help like that, we're like, let's talk about it. We've been there. Hence this podcast. Really.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what this is. This is like, how can we know we're not the only ones, but we know that there's solutions. And not that people don't know, but I think some people are so stuck on a situation, they don't realize, again, you're standing in the rain. There's just different ways you can stand in the rain and be okay, you know? And I meant to ask him what that quote was, and I should have him on here sometime and have him tell you the quote, because he hates the way I say it, but I get the meaning behind it.
It's how you react.
It's how you react. Like, you don't, I think of it like your quality of life. Like when I'm in a mood and I'm like there's times like I just want to stay in and your partner wants to go out, and then you're mad because you want them to stay in with you. And then I get like pissed. I think, okay, Courtney, your quality of life right now is like going down. Like you wanted to stay home, thrive, like have fun with it. Like just because that person doesn't want to doesn't mean that you have to be in a salty mood now where you're home alone and upset.
Do you ever feel like you only like go down that emotional path when it's like a change of plans? Oh, like it's not what you thought it was going to be, so you're just like thrown off. Like it's not like you don't want him to go out and have a good time. You're just like, wait, I was in the trajectory to like chill with you. So now what do I do? That's it. He would say that's it. Change of plans. It's like I think I'm an adaptable person until I'm not. That's what it is. It's like no, you told me we're staying in, or he's like going home, you know, he's supposed to go out to get drinks real quick. He's supposed to be home with me an hour later. And he ends up like staying out for 2 or 3 more hours. I get so mad. It's not like I like really like couldn't go there. There's like, I don't have to be upset, but because he told me he was going to be home and like I waited and I was like waiting for him, I get upset. You're like, do I just keep doing me? Do I wait for you to get here? So it's like, it's not like we're even mad. It's just, we're like faced with like, wait, uncertainty. So what now? Uncertainty and like, well, cause like I hate, like I suck at, like, I think I'm adaptable too, but you are. I want to like know where I can get comfortable. You want like that structure. It's like structure we crave. It's like I definitely crave structure, and like it's not, but it comes across. I build up in my head. Me too. I build up my head. I'm like, no, like he's being disrespectful. He like I was planning my time around him, and now he's not coming. But it's like all in reality, like there are several solutions here. Like get in your car and drive down. Call him or say, hey, call. Can I crawl into bed now? Because I'm kind of done waiting. But like also have fun. Like whatever. Keep doing you. Yeah. Cause like but it's like, what am I gonna do? Like do I need to wait for you? Do I need to not? It's the change of plans of not knowing. And like when you had, I think it was like you said you're coming and now you're not. But just like Courtney, like it's fine. Like he just like an hour or 2 later. But it's like I get that way when things change and I don't know necessarily why. So and I like that's always like the reason for me too, but then it's hard to like stop yourself from spiraling, right? Because once you're upset, it's so easy to like, it's like when you hang out with like toxic people, it's like you crave it, like you kind of start to like it, and like it's easy. It's like it's like a book about this where it's like a marigold and a walnut. So marigold are the ones next to trees or plants, whatever, that help it grow. Walnuts help like kind of like kill it. And so it's easy to be around walnuts because it's so easy to get into gossip. It's so easy to start venting, complaining. They're all around. But those marigolds are ones that are like, there's venting, there's complaining. Let's vent, let's find solutions. And so every time in a situation with people or just myself, my Courtney, be a marigold. It's easier to be a walnut, but you're going to do better as a marigold because you're going to help others grow and you're going to grow. And I have to like reference this because it's actually like, it's like in teaching. It's like a story or a book about marigolds and walnuts and like the whole process, like they're real things, but when they're around others, like walnuts kill the plants, but marigolds help like the plants live. But that's how I kind of live my life lately. It's like
be surrounded by marigolds, because like the walnuts are just gonna like drain you and make you negative and toxic.
I love that. And like, yeah, because your surroundings, they just do play a huge part. Yeah. Well, and it's like when you binge watch a Netflix show, I have to rewatch Friends. I have to rewatch Positive Things Office, because if I like the show it's incredible. I love that show. I go into a crazy ass spiral where I think someone's watching me.
I can't watch that show.
That show's worth it to me because it's so good. But like I can't watch stuff like that all the time because my brain's going to be affected. And it's the same thing. Like our brains get so affected, and that's what I'm trying not to do lately. Yeah. Especially with mine and Pablo's relationship, because I have to tell myself a lot of the times, like, calm down. Like, calm down.
I know. I think sometimes too, when it's like everything's going so well, I like sometimes I'm like, drama. We need to fight. We need to fight. And it's like so
drama.
Bad. I'm just like, it's like, why do I do this sometimes? So it's like self-sabotaging, because I'm just like, we're getting a little too good. It's a little too healthy. So we need to scale it back.
Let me just throw this walnut.
Let me just throw a walnut, and we're gonna figure out what's wrong. Like, even though there's something wrong.
Okay, and I feel like we're not giving ourselves enough credit. Like, we work really hard at our relationship. We are positive as fuck.
I think so. They're like, really?
We are.
No, I think,
but it's constantly in our brains. Like, like I feel like I have to just check that natural, like, negative reaction all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Like, this is too good. Too good to be true.
Like, I just have to ignore that negativity in my own brain. Like, it's like, sorry, bitch, but you can't talk today because you're just gonna ruin things. Because I could be so negative in my own brain sometimes.
But I think that's why we are positive. I think because we're aware. I'm always aware. Like, I like, even if I have a very strong opinion on something, I am able to see two perspectives. Yeah. Now, I obviously favor one towards the other because I just like my own morals and ethics. But I think that's like our ability, is that we can see both sides to many things. And so, like, when we, I would say we are very positive people, but we just know in times we are negative, but we're aware of that. Whereas many people are like, they don't know they're being negative and they don't know when to stop. Yeah. I think at least we have that social awareness. But I think it's fine. Okay. I think it's completely normal at times to feed into things, but just know when enough's enough. When you're venting, just know there needs to be a positive outcome. When you're upset about something, read the situation and kind of diagnose like why you're upset about it. And it's a skill not many people have, but the skill that people can learn. It's just like it's definitely a mindset change. You change a mindset, and it's hard because I think it's easier just to like not think about things and just be that walnut. But your quality of life will be better as a marigold. For sure. So the thing about a relationship and just being in a relationship, it's like, you are who you surround yourself with, unfortunately. And it's a statement that I've always been like, I've always had certain friend groups where like, they're mean, I'm nice, but like, I don't hang out with them that much. But it's like, no, eventually you get into that gossip at work, you become that walnut now. It's like, even if you're just listening, not saying anything, you're silently agreeing with them. And I think like you just need to be in perspective about
part of you.
Yeah, it does, because when you fade into that, like, you're like, I did see that. And you start like, you don't find yourself doing it until like, you're like, oh wait, I just realized I did that. Yeah. So in a relationship, know too, when you're with a partner, make sure that they're also like on the same page of like being positive and, letting you vent without telling you're negative. Because you're not negative. You're allowed to vent, to let out your frustration. Because if you don't and you let it build up, like there's going to be an explosion soon, and he or she, your partner, better run for the hills, because it will be crazy if you don't let it out now.
So it's like, maybe marigolds are a little crazy too, but like not in a bad way.
Absolutely.
So let the crazy out. You can let it out in a positive way, and like, don't judge yourself for feeling irrational, for feeling like a walnut for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you feel that way,
just know you are though. Just know like what you're being. Yeah. If you're a walnut, you can vent and have a rough day. Just know like, okay, I'm being a walnut. Just let it happen. Cause like, don't change. Like you're allowed to let everything come out, but then just always end your session or end your moment on a positive note. Like, this is what happened today. I don't want it to happen again. It's like we do, for, we're going to talk about relationship advice of like, when to accept it, when to not accept it. But like, just some things I always think about with my partner is every single day, we rarely ever watch the same shows anymore, kind of do our own thing at night. But every night at dinner, we do highs and lows. So we sit at the table and we eat together at the table, not by the TV anymore. And we do highs and lows. So we each start off with like, what was our high for the day? Something positive, something we liked, and a low. And I started doing this is about only a couple of weeks now. It's just like a recent thing because I was finding like I would be up here in the office eating, working, or doing my own show up here. He'd be downstairs doing his own thing. And we would never, we wake up at 6 a.m. We go to work, we come home, we never talk anymore. I feel like I'm in person during the week. And so I felt like we need to set aside time doing highs and lows because then you allow the lows, those walnut moments, those venting sessions to happen. But then your partner should be on the same page where they like find the light in that and can help you go through it to where you're not being that walnut necessarily. Like you're having that marigold kind of like uplift you.
I love that. And like Pablo and I, we're such TV eaters. Like we watch TV and like eat together, and then we're also such particular, like we eat totally different foods. And so like the dinner situation, it's kind of like we're just different. But then every night we like lay down at the same time, go to bed at the same time. And it's like a sleepover every night. And like, that's our quality time. Like that's when we're laughing or crying or whatever. And maybe we should add a little more structure to it though. Like,
but that's the highs and good that you have like, that. Yeah. We just don't like, we don't go to like, I don't like some scary, I call them scary. I don't like the shows that he watches, and that's okay. Like I have my own like reruns. I watch the same comedy show and I go to bed way earlier because I work Eastern hours. So I'm always in bed sooner. So that 20, 30, 45-minute dinner session of highs and lows, we get to just talk and like really hear each other's like day. And I could tell anybody any day of the week what Reed does at like how his day was at work, what happened at work, because I just generally like care. And two, like we allow those highs and low sessions, and that's refreshing because he'll come home or I'll come downstairs upset, and then it's like, oh, well, what was good today? I'm like, oh wait, actually, like I had a really good meeting. And then that person brings that positive vibe, or it allows you to remember those positive moments that you just might not remember. And it's just refreshing in a relationship to be like, oh, like this person like really like finds like the positive, like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of a thing.
They support me, good or bad. And like I feel like that's a good way to catch up so you know what's going on in each other's lives. That's
exactly like what's like day to day.
Because it's so weird to not be able to hang out all day every day, and then you're like, what's your life like?
Yeah, like what are you doing during the day? What do you do?
Are you just a crazy rascal?
Yeah. Are you like in the FBI?
You could be anything.
Do you even, is your name what you think? Is it real name? Do you go by something else? Like
who are you?
Who are you? And why aren't you in my bed all the time? No.
Should we check our time?
Yeah.
We forgot to time ourselves.
Yeah. Could you imagine if we forgot to hit record? We just have these thoughts that we just want to get out, and we just don't record, or we don't like time ourselves. So we're hoping this is not like an hour-long episode.
We don't want to time ourselves, but
we don't,
only gives us so much time.
Yeah, but we're not professional podcasters. Like we're not like YouTubers. Well, we are, I guess. So we're not like the professional ones.
No,
experts. But I think this is good.
Like, should we wrap up? Like, so like, I think like when it comes to like advice about relationships in general, or like your relationships specifically, I think table talks are good. I don't like asking people for advice. Like we talked about this, but like when there's like some kind of dilemma, I need to vent. I'm not asking for opinions. I'm asking for ears. But how do you feel about people giving advice? Like we're not trying to give you advice.
I'm not giving. This is just more of a support time for us to just kind of get out like our own, like help us really think about things and kind of get it out. I'm all about like, if I go to Fran and I have a situation, I'm like, oh, like we fought this week about this. Like, I think you can word it in a way that like the person kind of can see like, ooh, like, should I suggest something or should I always find it's better to relate to like, you know what? Like I didn't do the same thing as you and I did this. Because then like you're not alone and you're not offering advice. You're just telling them how you went through a similar situation. You're empathizing with them. Whereas someone tried giving me advice recently and I was not about that. And I'm not being rude saying like who are they to give me advice, but just in a sense of like I didn't ask for advice, but two, it's just like I'm in a relationship that I know is like how I want to be, and it's healthy for us. That I don't feel like I want any advice from someone that doesn't really know our relationship.
Yeah. And nobody could possibly know.
Yeah.
Your day-to-day relationship.
Right. And then telling me that we shouldn't sit next to each other all the time. Fuck you. You know what I mean? But like, you know, like not really, but like kind of really.
Like, just keep your mouth shut.
Like who told you I wanted anything about that? So I think, you know, when we talk about relationships, it's not so much that we're giving advice, but telling you like how we navigate situations. And if it happens to be applicable to you, great. If you're going through something and you just want different perspectives, because I think it's always good to get different lenses and see things through different like lens or perspective, we're here for that. And that's like kind of the point of this podcast is like jokes aside and fun to listen to, you know, it's still there, but at the same time, it's real. Like we all go through things in this busy world. And there's all these different social media, there's these TikToks, there's so much happening that sometimes we don't really digest everything right.
Yeah.
And so we kind of like offer this platform to just like you have your pop, you have all this stuff happening. Like we're just real. We talk about real issues, just like real things happening, and just be a support. So again, like I think, you know, advice can come and go to you. You can take it out, you know, take it in one ear, go out the other, kind of, you know, digest it if you want. But just know that at the end of the day, like it's always good to hear how someone else is going through a similar situation. But doesn't their solution or outcome doesn't have to be your solution or outcome.
Yeah.
So hope that helps or makes sense, coming from the heart.
And listen, like maybe sometimes like when I ask people like what they think or if I'm like venting, sometimes I do like to hear their different voices or opinions because I can compare it to how I'm really feeling. And like, I don't know, sometimes you can find your voice by listening to and canceling out other people's voices too. Like it's kind of messed up, but like
it feels like a template. Like they're giving you a template to work from. You can customize it, but they maybe take, I like that idea, but I might approach it with my partner a little bit differently. But that's so good that you can do that.
Yeah.
You've been given a platform or a template.
At least the problem left your own brain for a little bit and maybe it brought you to a better perspective of how to handle it and go forward. So
very good.
That's
like that.
Our spiel. That's the gist of this episode. We love relationships, even though they suck. So just have sometimes. I'm pretty Capricorn when it comes to relationships. Like the less the better, because they're hard.
They're hard,
but they're so worth it.
They're worth it. They're work. They're not always easy, but they are on a journey where they're helping you grow.
You have to get off the couch sometimes for them.
Yeah.
But it's in your best interest, or it should be.
Yeah. I like that.
We love you guys.
Love you. And
peace out.
See you next time.